Sunshine Market, dawn. Amara kneels beside a ragged stranger offering bread. Mrs. Okonkwo's designer heel slams the bowl away. Porridge splashes across dirt. Feeding trash attracts trash. You're ruining my business, you pathetic woman. Bean cakes scatter. The homeless man doesn't move. 20 vendors watch. Nobody speaks. Mrs. Okonkwo adjusts her gold crucifix, smiling. Look at you. Poor feeding poor. This is why you'll always be nothing. Have you ever been shamed for showing kindness? Watched someone crush compassion because it threatened their image? This is one of those African stories you don't forget. A real-life story where one widow's mercy collided with one woman's cruelty. These touching stories happen in markets, not movies. Small life stories that change everything. What Amara didn't know, someone had been watching, recording, waiting. 3 years ago, Thabo died. Stroke. No insurance. Amara buried him with borrowed money she's still repaying. Now she runs a wooden stall in Sunshine Market, 2 meters wide, painted blue. The sign reads Amara's Bean Cakes in careful letters. She wakes at 3:45 a.m. to hand-grind beans. Sells until dusk. Earns $12 to $15 daily. Her daughter Zola is 16. Sharp mind. Dreams of nursing school. Their room has tin roofing, and walls so thin you hear neighbors breathing. 4 families share one bathroom. Amara wears an orange head wrap, faded, soft. Her mother's last gift. On her stall shelf, Thabo's Bible open to Matthew 5:7. Blessed are the merciful, she doesn't preach. She just lives it. She leaves 2 unsold cakes each evening near the dumpster for street kids. On her prep table sits a wooden ladle. Thabo carved it. Their initials, A+T. She uses it for everything. Stirring, serving, measuring love. Current debts. Stall permit, $350 yearly. 2 months overdue. Zola's exam fees, $180. Due in 12 days. Rent, $85 monthly. Landlord sent final notice. Her savings, $47. Mrs. Gladys Okonkwo owns 12 stalls, clothing, spices, electronics. She's Market Vendors Association. President elected 4 years ago unopposed. Everyone was too afraid to run against her. She's 55. Drives a Range Rover. Instagram, Holder Gladys Blessed. 18,000 followers. Posts Bible verses over photos of her car, her house, her jewelry. Every Sunday she donates $500 to church. Cameras always present. Hashtag, doubt you're blessed to be a blessing. What the cameras don't see, she collects protection fees from small vendors. $50 to $200 monthly. No receipts. No records. Just cash and threats. She wears a gold crucifix, 4 inches long, 24 carat. Impossible to miss. She quotes scripture while demanding payments. Her private ledger, if anyone saw it, would show $47,000 in unaccounted fees over 3 years. But nobody's seen it. Nobody dares ask. 10 days ago, a man appeared. Dirty clothes. Matted hair. Maybe 30 years old. Sleeps on cardboard behind the dumpsters. Doesn't speak. Just sits with hollow eyes. Amara noticed him on day 2. Something in his face reminded her of Thabo during the final illness, that look of someone disappearing inside themselves. She started leaving breakfast. Bean cakes, tea in a tin cup. He'd nod. Never spoke. On day 4, Mrs. Okonkwo noticed, that beggar is scaring my customers. Make him leave. Amara looked up from her stall. He's not bothering anyone. He's just hungry. You're encouraging vagrancy. Mrs. Okonkwo's voice carried across the market. Other vendors looked over. This is a business district, not a charity ward. He's a person. Not a problem. Mrs. Okonkwo stepped closer. Her crucifix caught the light. There's a law, Amara. Market Sanitation and Safety Act of 2019. We can report loiterers who disrupt commerce. Keep feeding him and I'll report you both. Amara said nothing. That evening she left him dinner anyway. Day 1. The meeting. 42 vendors summoned. 8 a.m. Mrs. Okonkwo at the podium. Amara standing in front like a defendant. 2 days ago, Mrs. Okonkwo announced, I personally witnessed Amara stealing vegetables from my stall to feed that homeless man. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. She held up her phone. I have a photograph. The image showed Amara's back near Okonkwo's stall. Blurry, grainy, proved nothing, but the insinuation landed. 5 vendors whispered support. She's the kindest person here. This isn't fair. 10 vendors nodded agreement with Okonkwo. They paid protection fees. They knew better than to dissent. 27 stayed silent. Fear is its own language. Amara's voice shook. Fear, I've never stolen anything. I only give my leftover food. I swear on my late husband's grave. Mrs. Okonkwo's smile was cold. The word of a poor widow versus a respected business leader. She paused. Please. The security chief stepped forward. Clipboard, official vest. Ms. Ndlovu, we have one complaint on file against you from last year, unsanitary practices. If Mrs. Okonkwo files a second complaint, we must suspend your permit pending investigation. Mrs. Okonkwo adjusted her crucifix. Here's your choice. Pay a penalty fee of $1,050 within 14 days. Prove you're a serious vendor, or we revoke your permit, she smiled. Consider it insurance against future accusations. The room went quiet. Amara clutched her wooden ladle so hard her knuckles went white. Mrs. Okonkwo's gold crucifix gleamed. Outside the window, the homeless man watched. His eyes unreadable. Amara needed $1,050 in 14 days. Plus $180 for Zola's school. Plus $85 for rent. Total $1,315. She had $47. That night, Zola found her mother crying, Thabo's Bible open. Tears on the pages, Mama. Amara wiped her face quickly. I'm fine, baby. You're not fine. Zola sat beside her on the thin mattress. 16 years old, already learning that fairness is a fairy tale. Mrs. Okonkwo is lying about me, and I can't prove it. Amara's voice cracked. I can't pay what she's demanding, and if I lose the stall, I lose everything. Zola held her mother's hand. Then we'll figure it out, together. But neither of them knew how. Outside, the market settled into darkness. The homeless man pulled his cardboard closer. In his pocket, a folded, dirty business card. A name printed in elegant letters. He didn't look at it. Not yet, day 2. Sales dropped 45%. Mrs. Okonkwo's whisper campaign worked. Be careful buying from Amara. There are questions about her integrity. Amara worked 17 hours, made $7. Should have been 12. She still left breakfast for the homeless man, used her wooden ladle to serve porridge into a chipped bowl. He nodded, never spoke. Day 3. More whispers. A regular customer approached, hesitated, walked away. Amara watched her buy from another stall. That evening, Zola came home with red eyes. Mama. Her voice was small. What happened? Kayoma's mother told her not to sit near me at school. She said, Zola's voice broke. She said you're a thief. Amara pulled her daughter close. You know it's not true. I know. But they don't. Zola pulled back, tears streaming. Why are you still feeding that homeless man? He's ruining our lives. Baby, stop, Mama, just stop. We can't afford your kindness anymore. The words hung between them like broken glass. Amara spoke quietly. When your father was dying, strangers brought us food, paid for medicine. I didn't ask their names. I just accepted their mercy. That's different, is it? Amara cupped Zola's face. We don't abandon people because it's hard. That's when they need us most. Zola pulled away, went to their tiny room. The tin walls amplified her crying. Amara sat alone with Thabo's Bible. The marked passage blurred through tears. Day 4. The school called Mr. Bello, Zola's teacher. His voice was sympathetic but firm. Ms. Ndlovu, Zola's exam fees are overdue. If not paid by day 10, she cannot take finals. She'll have to repeat the year. Amara's stomach dropped. She's second in her class of 140 students. I know. But policy is policy. Please, just give me a few more days, day 10. That's the deadline. He paused. I'm sorry. She's a brilliant girl. Don't let this destroy her future. Amara hung up, sat on the curb outside the market, put her head in her hands. A shadow fell across her. The homeless man standing, first time she'd seen him upright, he didn't speak. Just held out his empty bowl. Amara almost laughed, almost cried. Here she was, drowning, and still someone needed her. She filled the bowl, gave him the last bean cake she'd made for her own lunch. He took it. His fingers brushed hers. Surprisingly clean nails, she noticed. Odd for someone living rough. Their eyes met. His were dark brown, intelligent, haunted by something deeper than poverty. Thank you, he whispered. First words she'd heard him speak. His accent was educated, not what she expected. Then he was gone, day 5. The bystander. A young man with a phone stood near the dumpsters. Early 20s, skinny jeans, university hoodie, Amara didn't notice him. She was too busy serving porridge to the homeless man, using her wooden ladle, the morning light catching the carved initials. The young man filmed. 15 seconds. Posted to the Sunshine Market Community Facebook group. 8,400 members. Caption: "This is what real Christianity looks like, not gold chains and Range Rovers. Real faith within 6 hours, 1,200 shares. 340 comments. The algorithm pushed it. People love a saint. People love a villain." The post had both support comments. "This woman is an angel. Why are we punishing her?" "Mrs. Okonkwo should be ashamed." Criticism comments: "She's breaking loitering laws." "Bleeding hearts enable vagrancy." "Rules exist for a reason." Amara didn't have Facebook. Didn't know her life was being debated by strangers. Day 6. The rent collector came, 5 p.m. Amara at her stall counting coins. $83 in sales over 3 days. Below survival level. The collector was an older woman with a tired face and a ledger. "You're 3 weeks late." $85. "Today or eviction notice tomorrow." Amara counted out $50. "Please, I need more time for the rest." "I'll take the 50. But day 10, you pay the remaining 35 plus next month's 85. 120 total." The woman's voice softened. "I'm sorry. I don't make the rules." After she left, Amara had $12. 6 days until deadline. Needed $1,303 total. Had 12. That night she prayed until her knees ached against the concrete floor. Day 7. Zola found her, 2 a.m. Amara sitting in darkness. Thibault's Bible open, candle burning low. "Mama, you should sleep." "Can't." Amara's voice was hollow. Zola sat beside her. 16 but carrying 30 years of worry. "I'm sorry I yelled," Zola whispered. "About the homeless man. You were right. I can't afford this, but you won't stop." "No. Why?" Amara was quiet for a long time. "Because the world breaks people, baby. Every day. And we can choose to be breakers or healers. That's the only choice that matters." Zola leaned against her mother's shoulder. "I wish being good didn't hurt so much." "Me too." They sat in silence until the candle died. Day 8. Enter Dr. Chinedu. He was 68. Retired physician. Salt and pepper beard. Newsboy cap. Walked with a cane carved from dark wood. He'd bought from Amara for 2 years. Always polite. Always tipped. This morning he bought 6 bean cakes. Handed her a 20. "Keep the change." "Dr. Chinedu, that's too much. You look like you haven't slept in a week." Amara tried to smile. Failed. He sat on the wooden stool beside her stall. "I heard about Okonkwo's accusations. Shameful. Everyone knows you're honest." "Knowing doesn't pay debts. How much do you need?" She told him. His eyebrows rose. "Let me loan you $500. "No interest." Amara shook her head. "I can't. If I fail, I'll owe you too. I won't trap you in my sinking ship." "Then let me buy 120 bean cakes in advance for my church's Sunday breakfast." Amara calculated. "That's $480. He pulled out his wallet. Counted bills. "I'll pay today." "You make them next week. Why are you helping me?" Dr. Chinedu stood leaning on his cane. "I've lived 68 years. Seen a lot of people. The ones worth knowing, they share their last bread without asking questions." He tapped his cane. "You have a gift the wealthy can't buy. Compassion without calculation. Don't lose that trying to survive." He left the money on her stall. Walked away before she could refuse. Amara counted it 3 times. Cried the 4th current total. 12 plus 480. $492, still needed 823. But now she could breathe, barely. Day 9. The homeless man spoke again. 5:30 a.m. Amara arrived early to prep. He was awake, sitting on his cardboard. Watching the sunrise, she brought tea. 2 bean cakes he accepted. Held the wooden ladle she'd given him to stir sugar. "Why?" His voice was rough from disuse. "Why what? Why do you help me?" "Everyone else treats me like a disease." Amara sat on the curb. Her orange head wrap glowed in dawn light. "Because you're not invisible." "Not to me, not to God." He was quiet. Then, "I used to have everything, family, money, respect." "What happened?" "I failed." His voice cracked. "And they all disappeared." "Money attracts loyalty. Poverty reveals truth. What's your real name?" He hesitated. Pulled out a dirty, folded business card from his pocket. The card read, Adeyemi Enterprises Real Estate Development and Investment CEO, Olamide Adeyemi. Phone number partially faded. Logo embossed in gold. I used to know this man, he said quietly. Before I lost everything. Amara studied the card. Maybe he's still looking for you. Men like him don't look back. Only forward. Then look forward too. But first you have to survive today. He held her wooden ladle carefully, almost reverently. My mother had a ladle like this. She used to say it carried love, not just food. Your mother sounds wise. She was. His eyes filled. Before I disappointed her, Amara stood. You're still her son. Disappointment isn't permanent. She left him with the tea. Didn't ask more questions. That afternoon, the young man with the phone posted again. Different angle. Same scene. Amara feeding the stranger. This time 1,800 shares. Someone tagged Mrs. Okonkwo's Instagram. The war was about to go public. Day 10. The algorithm worked overnight. The video hit 3,000 shares. Sunshine Market Community Facebook group couldn't contain it. Spilled into regional groups, faith-based groups, social justice pages. Comments multiplied like weeds. Support. Finally someone living their faith. This is the woman we should be celebrating. Where's her GoFundMe? I want to help. Backlash. She's creating a homeless magnet. This violates health codes. Virtue signaling at its finest. Mrs. Okonkwo saw it at 6 a.m. She sat in her Range Rover outside the market, scrolling, face reddening with each comment, comparing her unfavorably to Amara, her assistant. A nervous young man named Femi sat in the passenger seat. That video makes me look like a villain, she said quietly. Femi said nothing, wisdom in silence. We need to accelerate the timeline. She dialed a number. Musa, it's Gladys. That health inspection I mentioned? Move it to day 13. Yes, same day as her penalty payment. I want maximum pressure. She hung up. Opened her makeup compact. Checked her lipstick. Femi, I need you to do something for me. 8 anonymous customers bought from Amara that morning. Bulk orders. Large bills. No explanations. An older woman. 20 bean cakes paid with $50. Refused change. A young couple. 15 bean cakes paid with 40. Walked away smiling, a man in a suit. 30 bean cakes and paid with 80. Keep up the good work. By noon, Amara had made $340. Triple her normal daily earnings. She didn't understand, didn't question. Just packed orders with shaking hands. Dr. Chinedu appeared at lunch. Bought coffee. Winked. Shared that video with my church group. Sometimes the internet is useful. You did this. Mercy attracts mercy. You started a wave. I just paddled. He sipped his coffee. How much now? 832 total. Still need 483 by day 13. You'll make it. How can you be sure? Because people are starving for proof that kindness exists. You're feeding a different hunger now. He left. Amara stood there, wooden ladle in hand, trying to understand. Day 11. The counterattack. Mrs. Okonkwo filed the official complaint. Document title, Health Code Violation Report. Stall, Gur 47, Amara and Lovu. Allegations, signs of rodent infestation, unsanitary food storage, failure to maintain minimum cleanliness standards per Market Sanitation and Safety Act Section 12B. Inspector Musa confirmed. Inspection scheduled for day 13, 7 a.m. Same day. Same time as the penalty payment deadline. Failure meant immediate stall closure plus $500 fine. Amara read the notice pinned to her stall. Her hands went numb. Thandiwe approached that afternoon, 28 years old. Sold fabric 3 stalls down. Bright head wraps. Quiet demeanor. Amara. She glanced around nervously. Can we talk? Privately. They stepped behind the stalls. Thandiwe pulled out her phone. I need to show you something. Her voice shook. But if Okonkwo finds out I told you, she'll destroy me. She opened her photo gallery. Screenshots of a ledger. Handwritten entries, dates, amounts, names. Protection fee, Thandiwe Musa, $300, March 2024, cash. Protection fee, Joseph Kimathi, $250, April 2024, cash. Protection fee, Grace Adebayo, $400, June 2024, cash 15 names total. 3 years of entries. Thandiwe scrolled to the summary page. Total unaccounted, $47,000. She made me pay $300 last year. No receipt. Said it was insurance against complaints. When I couldn't pay, she threatened to report me for fake violations. Thandiwe's voice cracked. I've been too scared to say anything. This is theft. I know, but I can't report her. I have 2 kids. I can't lose my stall. Thandiwe grabbed Amara's hands. But you can use this. Keep these photos, just in case. In case of what? In case you need ammunition. Amara looked at the evidence. $47,000 stolen from people who couldn't fight back. Why are you giving this to me? Thandiwe's eyes filled. Because you're the only one brave enough to stand up to her. And if she destroys you, the rest of us have no hope. She hurried away, left Amara holding a phone full of dynamite. Day 12 morning. Kojo disappeared. Amara arrived at 4 a.m. His cardboard spot empty. Torn blanket gone. Water bottles gone, only item remaining, the wooden ladle. Placed carefully on the cardboard, cleaned, polished, Amara picked it up. Her throat tightened. Did I fail him? She whispered to no one. The market was silent. Dawn still an hour away. She sat on his cardboard. Held the ladle, felt its weight. Thabo's initials smooth under her thumb. For the first time in 8 years, she wanted to quit. Not just the stall. Everything. Dr. Chinedu found her there at 5:30. Amara. She didn't look up. He sat beside her, his cane resting against his knee. The homeless man is gone, she said flatly. Maybe he's safe now, or maybe I failed him. Like I'm failing my daughter. Like I'm failing myself. Dr. Chinedu was quiet for a long moment. Then, you know what I learned in 50 years of medicine? People die anyway. You can do everything right, give them the best care, pray over them, and they still die. Failure is built into being human. That's not comforting. It's not supposed to be comforting. It's supposed to be freeing. He looked at her. You did your part. You can't control the outcome. That's not failure. That's just life. Amara wiped her face. Tomorrow they inspect my stall. If I fail, I lose everything. Then make sure you don't fail. What if it's not enough? Then you tried. That's more than most people do. He stood. Left her with the sunrise. Amara spent the rest of the day cleaning, scrubbed every surface, organized inventory, threw out anything borderline, made her stall spotless. That night, Zola helped. They worked until 11 p.m., cleaning, preparing, fighting the inevitable. Mama, what if they find something anyway? Then we face it together. But Amara didn't sleep. She sat with Thabo's Bible, reading, praying, bargaining with God. Day 13. 7 a.m. 50 vendors gathered. Mrs. Okonkwo had spread word. Maximum audience for maximum humiliation. Inspector Musa arrived. Clipboard. Official vest. 2 assistants. Amara stood by her stall. Orange head wrap bright in morning light. Wooden ladle visible on the shelf. Ms. Ndlovu. Musa's voice was flat, professional. Routine health inspection per complaint filed. He checked surfaces. Clean, checked utensils. Acceptable, checked food storage. Within code, Mrs. Okonkwo's face darkened. Then Musa moved to the back storage area. Behind the curtain, he lifted a cardboard box. A dead rat fell out. The crowd gasped. Amara's world stopped. That's not mine. Her voice barely audible. I cleaned everything last night. Someone put that there. Inspector Musa wrote on his clipboard. Grade A violation. Immediate suspension pending investigation. I swear I cleaned. Rules are rules. Mrs. Okonkwo stepped forward, hand on her gold crucifix, smile playing at her lips. This is exactly why I filed the complaint. Public health is paramount. Rules exist for a reason. She turned to security. Remove her permit. She's done. 2 security guards moved forward, started dismantling Amara's stall. Vendors watched, some sympathetic, most silent. Fear is a powerful anesthetic. Amara looked for Dr. Chinedu. He was pushing through the crowd but couldn't reach her. She stood there, watching her livelihood taken apart. Piece by piece, the wooden ladle in her hand. The only solid thing in a collapsing world. Even Kojo left me, she whispered. I'm truly alone. Then the engine sound, low, expensive, purring, a black Mercedes S-Class, tinted windows, chrome gleaming. It pulled up to the market entrance. Nobody moved. The market went silent. Driver stepped out. Suit, earpiece, opened the rear door. Out stepped a man in his 60s, impeccable gray suit. Silver tie, presence like gravity, face everyone recognized from billboards. Adeyemi Enterprises building Africa's future. Mr. Olamide Adeyemi. Net worth $840 million. Real estate developer, philanthropist, power. Whispers exploded. That's Adeyemi. What's he doing here? Who called him? Mrs. Okonkwo's face drained of color. The other door opened. Out stepped someone else, clean-shaven, navy suit. Fresh haircut, standing tall. Kojo except not Kojo anymore. Transformed. Recognizable only by his eyes. The crowd stared. 15 seconds of stunned silence. Someone dropped a metal cup. It clanged against concrete. That's the homeless man. That's Adeyemi's son. What is happening? Father and son walked toward Amara. Security guards stepped aside instinctively. Mrs. Okonkwo tried to slip toward the back. Too late. Olamide's voice cut through the chaos. Polished steel. Where is Amara and Lovu? Amara stepped forward, shaking. I'm Amara. My name is Olamide Adeyemi. This is my son Oluwaseun. The camera, because of course someone was filming now, panned to Oluwaseun's face. His eyes were red. Emotional. Father, Oluwaseun said, voice trembling. This is the woman I told you about. For 7 weeks she was the only person who saw me as human. Amara couldn't speak, couldn't process. Olamide addressed the crowd. 6 months ago my son disappeared. Business failure, divorce, depression. He walked away from everything. Oluwaseun added, I lost a $3 million investment. My wife left. I felt like a fraud. So I lived on the street to see if I still had value without money. Private investigators searched for months. Olamide continued. Then last week he called from a borrowed phone. Said, I found someone who restores my faith in humanity. We need to help her. Oluwaseun turned to Amara, held up her wooden ladle. You gave me food when I was hungry. But more, you gave me dignity. You never asked my story, never judged. You just saw me. His voice cracked. This ladle symbolized everything I'd lost. Home, warmth, family. You trusted a stranger with something your late husband made. That's not charity. That's love. Amara's tears fell. I just did what anyone should do. But you were the only one who did. Olamide's eyes scanned the crowd. Planted on Mrs. Okonkwo, frozen behind taller vendors. I believe you are the Market Association president. She forced a smile, voice shaking. Yes, Mr. Adeyemi. What an honor to meet. My son has been documenting his experience. Olamide's voice dropped 10 degrees, including how this market operates. He looked at Inspector Musa, starting with this inspection. Oluwaseun pulled out his smartphone. I recorded everything. He held it up. Screen visible to those nearby, including footage from this morning. He pressed play. 22 seconds, Fitiram low light. Shaky but clear. A young man, Mrs. Okonkwo's assistant, Femi, sneaking behind Amara's stool, looking around nervously, pulling a plastic bag from his jacket, placing it in the storage area. Running timestamp visible. Date visible. Low ambiguity, the crowd erupted. She framed her. This is criminal. Call the police. Mrs. Okonkwo's voice pitched high. That video is fake. He's lying. Deepfake technology. Would you like me to submit this to police? Olamide's voice cut through like a knife. I have 3 more angles. Security cameras I installed last week when my son told me what was happening here. Silence dropped like a guillotine blade. Installed? Mrs. Okonkwo's face went gray. 4 cameras hidden, covering the market from multiple angles. Olamide gestured to lampposts. Awning corners. All legal. All admissible. All time-stamped. He turned to Inspector Musa. Did Mrs. Okonkwo pay you to fail this inspection? Musa's clipboard shook in his hands. He looked at Mrs. Okonkwo, at the crowd. At his assistant's long pause, yes, his voice cracked. She paid me $300 yesterday. Bank transfer. My daughter needs surgery. I needed the money. Greed has many excuses. Olamide's voice was ice. You're terminated. Consider yourself reported to your supervisory board. Musa's assistant stepped away from him. Distancing themselves, security guards radioed for backup. Wait, Musa's voice desperate. I can explain. No need. Olamide pulled out his phone. I've already forwarded the evidence to your director. You'll hear from him within the hour. Musa stood there, career ending in real time. Then security led him away. Clipboard forgotten on the ground. Dandiwi pushed to the front, hands shaking, voice shaking. But determined, Mr. Adeyemi. She held up her phone. I have proof she's been stealing from vendors for years. She showed him the ledger photos. Scrolled through entries, dates, amounts, names. $47,000 in protection fees. No receipts. She extorted at least 18 of us. I have bank statements showing the cash withdrawals. I have text messages where she threatened me. Other vendors started shouting, "She took $400 from me. She threatened to shut me down. I paid her $200 last month." The crowd turned. Predator becoming prey. Mrs. Okonkwo backed up. "You're all lying. You're jealous. This is a conspiracy." Dr. Chinedu stepped forward. Cane tapping concrete. "I've watched you bully vulnerable vendors for 4 years, Gladys. I'm a witness. I'll testify." His voice carried weight of age and authority. "Today is overdue." Mrs. Okonkwo tried to run. Designer heel caught on uneven pavement. She fell, not dramatic, not cinematic. Just an older woman losing her balance, hitting concrete hard, purse spilling open. Her gold crucifix necklace snapped. Beads scattered across the dirt, rolling. Tiny sounds in the silence. 42 vendors watched gold beads roll into gutters. Nobody helped her up. She sat there. Knees scraped, makeup smeared. Breathing hard, Olamide stood over her, not threatening. "Just present. You have 2 choices. Apologize publicly to every vendor you've harmed, or I call police right now for fraud, extortion, and conspiracy to commit health code violations." Mrs. Okonkwo's face crumpled. The mask finally breaking. "I built this market." Her voice desperate. "I brought order. These people needed discipline. You built an empire on fear. That's not leadership. That's tyranny. I had to be strong. To survive. Nobody respects weakness. There's a difference between strength and cruelty. You forgot which one you were practicing." Olamide's voice softened. "Just slightly. I know what it's like to claw your way up, to fight for every inch. But power is a test, Gladys. You failed it." He extended his hand. Helped her to her feet. Now apologized to 9 vendors by name. On camera. Multiple phones already recording. Mrs. Okonkwo looked at the crowd. At Thandiwe. At the other vendors she'd extorted. At Amara. She started with Thandiwe, voice hollow. "I extorted you. I threatened you. I abused my position." "I'm sorry," Thandiwe nodded. Said nothing. Mrs. Okonkwo moved through the list. Each apology shorter, voice flatter. Reality settling in. When she reached Amara, she stopped. "I accused you falsely. I framed you. I tried to destroy you because—" Her voice broke. "Because your goodness exposed my emptiness." "I'm sorry." Amara held her wooden ladle. Orange head wrap bright in the sun. "I forgive you." Her voice was quiet but clear. "But I won't forget." "And neither will they." Oluwaseun stepped forward, picked up the scattered gold crucifix beads, held them out to Mrs. Okonkwo. "Faith without integrity is just jewelry." He pressed them into her palm. "Maybe start over. This time actually read the book." Olamide addressed the crowd. "Mrs. Okonkwo will face legal consequences, but punishment alone doesn't fix broken systems. So here's what happens next." He pulled out a notepad, began writing. "1 independent audit of Market Association finances. My firm will conduct it. Free of charge. Results posted publicly within 30 days. Vendors murmured. Some nodded. 2, Vendor Relief Fund. $50,000 annually for vendors facing hardship. Managed by an elected committee. Not one person. A committee with transparent accounting. More nods. Thandiwe wiped tears. 3, Anonymous reporting hotline. Operated by an external NGO. Any vendor can report abuse without fear of retaliation. Complaints investigated by neutral third parties. 4, New association president. Elected within 30 days. Supervised by neutral observers. 1-term limit 2 years. Then mandatory rotation. He looked at Mrs. Okonkwo. You're removed as president effective immediately. You will repay the $47,000 over 24 months. Court-supervised payment plan. Miss a payment? Criminal charges filed. You'll perform 250 hours community service at the Hope Street Homeless Shelter, where maybe you'll learn something. Your 12 stalls? Placed in trust. Profits fund the Vendor Relief Fund until your debt is repaid. After that, they revert to you. If you fulfill your obligations, he handed her a business card. My lawyer will contact you. You have 48 hours to agree to these terms. Or we proceed criminally. Your choice. Mrs. Okonkwo took the card. Hands shaking, nodded. Olamide turned to Amara, pulled out a checkbook. Wrote, tore it off. $50,000. For your kindness to my son? The crowd gasped. Some cheered. Amara looked at the check. Her hands didn't move. I can't accept that. Silence. Why not? Olamide genuinely confused. You've lost income. Been humiliated. You've earned... If I take $50,000, people will say I helped your son for money. They'll say kindness is transactional. Amara's voice was steady. It isn't. She looked at Oluwaseun. I helped you because you were hungry. That's the only reason that matters. Then what do you want? Olamide asked. Pay my stall fees, my daughter's school costs. $530 total. She met his eyes. Donate the rest to the vendor relief fund you just announced. Help others like me. The crowd went silent. You're turning down $49,470. Oluwaseun's voice filled with awe. My dignity isn't for sale. My kindness was free. It stays that way. Olamide stared at her, then slowly smiled. Extended his hand. You've just taught me more about wealth than 40 years in business. It's an honor, Ms. Ndlovu. They shook hands. The crowd erupted. Applause, cheers, phones recording everything. Zola pushed through the crowd, ran to her mother, threw her arms around her. Mama, I'm sorry I doubted you. You're the bravest person I know. Amara held her daughter. You're my reason for being brave, baby. The wooden ladle pressed between them. Thabo's initials warm against their skin. Dr. Chinedu approached, tipped his newsboy cap. Told you mercy attracts mercy, Amara laughed. First real laugh in 2 weeks. The market slowly returned to noise. Vendors talking, processing, some celebrating, some shell-shocked. Mrs. Okonkwo sat alone on a bench, security guards nearby. Not arrested yet, but finished. Amara saw her there, isolated, broken. She walked over, alone. Why did you become so cruel? Mrs. Okonkwo looked up, eyes red. Makeup streaked. I grew up dirt poor. 9 siblings. My father drank away our food money. We went days without eating. Her voice was small, childlike. I swore I'd never be powerless again, so I became powerful, feared, safe. But you became the thing you hated. I know. Mrs. Okonkwo's shoulders shook. I became my father. Just sober. Amara sat beside her. Hardness isn't strength. It's just fear wearing a mask. How can you forgive me? Because I choose to see your pain without excusing your harm. Amara's voice was gentle. Forgiveness doesn't mean we're friends. It means I won't carry your poison in my heart. Mrs. Okonkwo nodded. Said nothing. Amara stood. Adjusted her orange head wrap. Hurt people, but healed people, heal people. Choose which one you'll be. She walked away. Left Mrs. Okonkwo sitting there, alone with her choices. The sun climbed higher. Market sounds returned to normal. Life continuing, Amara returned to her stool. Oluwaseun helped her reassemble it. Security had stopped mid-dismantling. As they worked, he said quietly, "Thank you for seeing me when I was invisible." You were never invisible. Just hiding. What's the difference? Amara smiled. Picked up her wooden ladle. Invisible means nobody notices. Hiding means you chose not to be seen. One is done to you. One is done by you. Oluwaseun thought about that. Nodded. They finished rebuilding the stall in silence. 3 days later, the written apology appeared, posted on the market bulletin board. Printed on official letterhead, Mrs. Okonkwo's signature at the bottom. To the vendors of Sunshine Market, I abused power that was entrusted to me. I let greed corrupt me. I extorted money. I filed false complaints. I created fear instead of community. To Amara Ndlovu, you showed me that true wealth is measured in compassion, not gold. I will spend years proving I can change. To all vendors I harmed, I am ashamed. I will make restitution. I ask not for forgiveness, I haven't earned it, but for the chance to become someone worthy of it. Signed, Gladys Okonkwo. Vendors read it in silence. Some photographed it. Some just walked away. Thandiwe touched the paper gently. She actually admitted it. Dr. Chinedu adjusted his cap. Words are easy. Watch the actions. The audit took 2 weeks. Adeyemi Enterprises sent 3 accountants. They combed through ledgers, bank statements, cash logs, interviewed vendors confidentially. Results posted publicly on day 15. Sunshine Market Vendors Association audit report findings. $47,240. in unaccounted cash fees collected 2021-2024. Her receipts issued for 83% of collected fees. Association bank account shows $12,100 actual balance versus $34,600 documented collections. Discrepancy: $20,500 as unaccounted. 18 vendors confirmed extortion payments recommendations. Criminal investigation recommended restitution plan mandatory. Transparent accounting systems implemented. Regular external audits, quarterly first year. Annually thereafter. The report included a hotline number, a website, an email address for anonymous complaints. Mrs. Okonkwo signed the restitution agreement. Payment plan: $1,970 monthly for 24 months. First payment due in 7 days. Community service 3 hours weekly at Hope Street Homeless Shelter. 50 weeks, 150 hours total. Court reduced it from 250 after she showed genuine remorse in mediation. If she missed a payment or service hour, criminal charges filed. No second chances. She signed it in front of a judge. Olamide's lawyer present. Thandiwe representing the vendors. The judge looked at her over reading glasses. Ms. Okonkwo, do you understand these terms? Yes, Your Honor. This is mercy, not weakness. If you violate this agreement, the full weight of the law will come down. Understood? Understood. She left the courthouse alone. No Range Rover. It had been repossessed 2 days prior. Unpaid luxury car lease. She took the bus home. The shelter was called Hope Street Concrete Building. Peeling blue paint. 40 beds. Always full. Mrs. Okonkwo's first shift. Monday 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. kitchen duty. She arrived in worn jeans. Old t-shirt. Hair tied back, no makeup. No jewelry. The shelter manager, a woman named Sister Ruth, showed her around. You'll prep vegetables. Serve meals. Clean dishes. Everyone eats together. No hierarchy here. Mrs. Okonkwo nodded, said little. At 6:30 the dinner line formed. 63 people. Families, elderly. Young men who looked like Oluwaseun had looked. Lost. She served rice, beans, vegetables. Hands shaking at first. A young mother with 2 children. Thank you. An older man missing teeth. God bless you. A teenage girl pregnant. This looks good. Simple words. But they landed differently than compliments ever had. After service, she washed dishes. 127 plates. Her hands went red from hot water. Sister Ruth checked on her. You okay? I don't know. Mrs. Okonkwo's voice was quiet. I feel like I'm seeing people for the first time. That's because you are. Before you looked through them. Now you're looking at them. Mrs. Okonkwo was silent. Come back Wednesday, Sister Ruth said. We need help with the children's reading hour. Mrs. Okonkwo walked home that night. 2 miles. Buses had stopped running. She passed Sunshine Market. Saw Amara's stall. Lights still on. Amara cleaning up for the night. She didn't stop. Just kept walking. The election happened on day 35 candidates. All long-time vendors. Neutral observers from the Chamber of Commerce oversaw it. Thandiwe won with 82% of the vote. She stood in front of the assembled vendors. 28 years old. Nervous but determined. I'm not a politician. I'm a fabric seller. But I promise 3 things: transparency, fairness, and I'll listen. She held up the audit report. This never happens again. We all watch. We all speak up. We protect each other. Applause. Real applause, not fear. Not obligation. Relief. Dr. Chinedu approached her after. You'll do well. I'm terrified. Good. The terrified ones usually care the most. Amara's stall got a small upgrade. New sign. Painted by a local artist. Amara's Bean Cakes, where everyone is family. Orange lettering. Bright. Welcoming. She hired 2 part-time helpers. Both single mothers. Both struggling. She paid them fairly. Split profits equitably. Treated them like partners, not employees. Sales increased steadily. Not just from local support. Tourists started coming. The viral video had made her a minor celebrity. She hated the attention. Just wanted to work. But she started something new, a wooden board mounted beside her stall. Pay it forward board. Customers could buy meal tokens. $2 each. Tokens hung on hooks. Anyone hungry could take one. No questions. No judgment. Within a week, the board held 40 tokens, taken and replenished daily. Zola helped manage it after school. She'd greet people, explain the system, smile. She was still second in her class. But now she walked taller. One afternoon, a reporter came. Local newspaper. Asked for an interview. Amara declined. I'm not a story. I'm just a woman making bean cakes. But people want to know, and then tell them this. Kindness isn't news. It's supposed to be normal. If you want a story, write about why it's so rare that you have to write about it. The reporter left. Wrote it anyway. But kept Amara's quote. Oluwaseun published his memoir 4 months later. The Wooden Ladle. What I Learned from the Streets. Dedication page. To Amara Ndlovu, who fed me when I was hungry and saw me when I was invisible. And to my father, who never stopped looking. The book sold 32,000 copies in 10 weeks. Became a regional bestseller. 100% of proceeds donated. Split between homeless shelters and the Sunshine Market Vendor Relief Fund. He did 3 book signings. Amara attended none. Sent a card instead. Proud of you for turning pain into purpose. He framed it. Hung it in his office beside the wooden ladle. Encased in glass, museum style. His assistant asked about it once. Why is a cooking utensil in a glass case? Because it saved my life. He didn't elaborate. Mrs. Okonkwo made her first payment on time, 1,970. Money order. Delivered by hand to the court clerk. She'd sold her designer clothes. Her jewelry. Her handbags. Everything non-essential. Moved to a smaller apartment. 1 bedroom. No doorman. No marble counters. She worked 3 jobs now. Morning, data entry. Afternoon, retail. Evening, shelter volunteer beyond her required hours. Her daughters visited once a month. Stilted conversations. Healing slowly. Her son didn't visit. Not yet, maybe never. She wrote letters. He didn't respond. At the shelter, she started leading the children's reading hour. Tuesday and Thursday evenings. She was good at it. Patient, kind. The children liked her, Sister Ruth noticed. You've found your gift. What do you mean? You're good with the children. They respond to you. Mrs. Okonkwo looked at the kids. 8 of them. Ages 5 to 12. Listening to her read about a princess and a dragon, I was never good with my own children. Too busy building. Too busy protecting. It's not too late. With them or with these kids, Mrs. Okonkwo kept reading. Voice steady. For the first time in years, she felt useful without being powerful. It was terrifying and freeing. 6 months after the reckoning, Amara sat on a bench early morning. Market quiet. Coffee steaming in her hand. Dr. Chinedu joined her. His cane clicking against concrete. How are you? Tired, grateful, confused. Amara smiled. Mostly grateful. You changed this place. I just fed someone. Olamide changed this place. No. Dr. Chinedu shook his head. Olamide had resources. You had compassion. Resources without compassion build monuments. Compassion without resources builds community. Guess which one lasts longer? Amara sipped her coffee. You're very wise for a retired doctor. I'm very old. Wisdom is just pattern recognition plus humility. They sat in comfortable silence. Have you seen her? Dr. Chinedu asked. Gladys? Once at the shelter. I went to donate meal tokens. She was reading to children. Amara paused. She didn't see me. I didn't say anything. Why not? Because she's building something new. I don't want to be a ghost in that construction. Dr. Chinedu nodded. You forgave her, but you're not friends. Forgiveness doesn't require friendship. Just release, he smiled. Wisdom isn't just for old doctors. The sun rose higher. Market sounds began. Vendors arriving. Setting up. Another day starting. Amara finished her coffee, stood, adjusted her orange head wrap. Time to work. 1 year later, Amara's stall had a new wooden shelf. 3 tiers. Handmade by a local carpenter. Top shelf, Thabo's Bible. Still open to Matthew 5:7. Spine cracked from use. Middle shelf, the wooden ladle. Mounted on small brass hooks. Polished but showing wear. Thabo's initials still clear. A+T bottom shelf, a framed photo. Zola in her nursing school uniform. White scrubs. Bright smile. Acceptance letter visible in the frame's corner. Full scholarship. Top of her class. Entrance exam. 94%. The photo had a handwritten note taped to the glass. Because Mama taught me that wealth without kindness is poverty. Thank you for everything. Amara touched the photo each morning. Ritual, gratitude, memory. The market had changed. Pay-it-forward boards now hung at 6 different stalls. Meal tokens, coffee tokens, fruit tokens. Token replenished daily. The vendor relief fund had helped 11 families. Medical emergencies, school fees, funeral costs, real help. Transparent accounting posted monthly. Thandiwe's leadership was quiet but effective. Complaints dropped 90%. Vendors resolved conflicts through mediation instead of threats. The anonymous hotline received 3 calls in the first year. 2 resolved informally. 1 resulted in a vendor voluntarily stepping down after admitting to wage theft from their helpers. No drama. Just accountability. Oluwaseun visited once a month, always brought his son, 6 years old, wide eyes, curious about everything. The boy's name was Thabo. Oluwaseun had asked Amara's permission first. She'd cried today. Young Thabo watched Amara make bean cakes, measuring, mixing, shaping. "Why do you use that spoon?" He pointed at the wooden ladle. "It was made by someone who loved me very much. Where is he now?" "He died, but his love is still here." She tapped the ladle. "In the wood. In the memories. In the food I make." Thabo thought about this. "So my daddy says you saved his life." "I just gave him bean cakes. He says that's how you save lives." "With bean cakes," Amara smiled. "So your daddy is very smart." Oluwaseun watched from nearby. His memoir had led to speaking engagements, mental health advocacy, foundation work. The Second Chance Foundation, his non-profit, had helped 237 people rebuild after failure. Job training, therapy stipends, small business grants. His office still displayed the wooden ladle in its glass case. Every client saw it. Every donor asked about it. He told them. Every time. The story never got old. Mrs. Okonkwo finished her community service in month 11. 150 hours completed. Never missed a week. She'd found something unexpected. Purpose. Sister Ruth offered her a paid position. Part-time children's coordinator, 15 hours weekly. Minimum wage. She accepted. Her daughters visited more frequently now. Conversations less stilted. Laughter occasionally. Her son sent a text on her birthday. First contact in 18 months. Just, "Happy birthday, Mom, proud of your progress." She cried for an hour. She still paid restitution. 119.70 monthly. Never late. 15 months down. 9 to go. Her apartment was small. Her car was used. Her clothes were thrift store, but she slept better than she had in 20 years. One evening she passed Amara's stall. Market closing. Amara packing up. They made eye contact. Brief, awkward. Mrs. Okonkwo raised her hand. Half wave, uncertain. Amara nodded. Not warm, not cold. Acknowledgement. Mrs. Okonkwo kept walking. That was enough. The viral video still circulated. New viewers discovered it monthly. Comments accumulated. Recent comment, 18 likes. "I come back to this video whenever I lose faith in people. Reminds me that kindness still exists." Recent comment, 31 likes. Update, looked up this woman. She's still feeding people, still running her stall, still refusing donations. That's real integrity. Recent comment, 9 likes. This is one of those African stories that actually changed a community. Not just one person, an entire system. More of this, please. The video had been shared 47,000 times, viewed 2.3 million times. Amara still didn't have Facebook. Didn't know, didn't want to know. She just made bean cakes. Fed people. Lived her life. Sunset market closing. Amara wiped down her stall. Orange head wrap glowing in golden light. A woman approached. Elderly, thin, shy. "Excuse me, I don't have money. But I'm very hungry." Amara smiled. Wrapped 3 bean cakes in paper. Added a banana. Poured tea into a tin cup. No charge. Just pass the kindness forward when you can. The woman's eyes filled. "Are you sure?" "I'm sure. Eat, rest." The woman took the food. Hands shaking. "God bless you." She sat on a nearby bench. Ati slowly, savoring. Amara watched for a moment. Felt Thabo's presence. Felt her mother's. Felt all the hands that had held that wooden ladle across generations. She turned back to her stall. Saw the wooden ladle hanging on the shelf. Saw the engraving she'd added last month. In memory of Thabo. In honor of all who hunger for dignity. She locked up. Walked home. 2 miles. Familiar route. Zola was studying when she arrived. Medical textbooks spread across their small table. "Hi, Mama." Hi, baby. Dinner? I made rice. They ate together. Simple food, simple conversation, simple life. Outside, the city hummed. Markets closed. Families gathered. Stories unfolded in 10,000 rooms. This was just one. Small, quiet, real. These are the African stories that matter most, not the ones in movies, not the ones with perfect endings. The real life stories, the touching stories, the life stories of ordinary people choosing compassion over comfort, mercy over revenge, healing over hatred. Amara's story spread, not because she wanted fame, but because people are starving for proof that goodness still exists. They found it in a widow, a wooden ladle, a bowl of bean cakes. They found it in a woman who refused $50,000 because dignity matters more than wealth. They found it in a community that chose accountability over silence. Small moments, large impact. Your turn. Have you ever been shamed for showing kindness? Have you watched someone weaponize power against compassion? Drop your story in the comments. Let's honor the everyday heroes who feed the hungry. Stand up to bullies and choose mercy when the world demands revenge. Share this if it moved you. Tag someone who restores your faith in humanity. And subscribe. Next week, another folk tale about hidden blessings and public justice. Another reminder that the smallest acts of love can trigger earthquakes. Hit the notification bell. You don't want to miss what happens next, because these stories, they're just beginning.